Hey everybody, I'm Dawn Williams and welcome back to Steak. All right, let's cook it up, Ant.
Let's cook it up.
We're on Leviticus.
Okay. Let's go Leviticus. That's the wrong one.
Oh.
Nah.
Is it really? Oh,
Yep.
It's because you moved the dock.
Yep. So that's why I said pay attention. New information.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. So, here we go. The appointed festivals. We've already been over appointed. These are the appointed festivals. The Lord said to Moses, speak to the Israelites and say to them, these are my appointed festivals. The appointed festivals of the Lord, which you are to proclaim as sacred assemblies. The Sabbath. There are 6 days when you may work, but the seventh day is a Sabbath rest, a day of sacred assembly. You are not to do any work. Wherever you live, it is a Sabbath day to the Lord. Want to go to your calendar? You closed it, huh?
Sorry, the calendar. Which calendar do you want me to go to?
The calendar that has the feasts on it. Yep, that'll do. Okay, so let's go back to April, because the first one is Pesach. Okay, then I'll go back to Leviticus so we can show people. Okay, so it says, these are the Lord's appointed festivals, the sacred assemblies you are to proclaim at their appointed times. Now, if we go to Genesis.
Which one?
No, there's only one. There's only one open.
Up there, yep.
So that says there in verse 14, and God said, let there be lights in the expanse of the sky to distinguish between day and night. And most people will read that, oh yeah, that's just a day and a night. But then it goes on and says, and to mark seasons and days. Now, if you pull up another version of that, or just go to the Hebrew to English, and if you read the English down in the right-hand corner, what are you doing, Dawn?
Just getting it so you can see it.
It was already there.
Oh, was it? Oh, because I've got the screen in the way, so.
Okay, so we're looking for verse 14, not these ones.
Yeah. Okay. Got it?
So verse 14 says, and God said, let there be lights in the firmament. Funny how it says firmament, because rakio means firmament. Actually, just for the sake of everybody. No, stop it. We'll do that another.
Yeah.
Oh no, do it. So open another tab, a new tab, and put Strong's Concordance in there. It's not. That's not that one.
Where is it?
No, it's the Bible Hub. So no. You got to type it in there. Top it, but before you type it in there, you got to go across to where it says Bible.
Yeah.
And click on Hebrew.
Yep.
Now type in Rakil.
spell it for me.
RCIO. Go into your no. Go into your Genesis Hebrew to English translation and have a look. Atmosphere.
There.
Atmosphere. Yeah, rakio. No. Just type it. Just type it.
RQ, is it RQIO? Yeah.
Yeah. No, so scroll up.
Yep.
Yeah. Click on Hebrew. You need to get it to Hebrew. And type in firmament or atmosphere. FI or atmosphere. Yeah. What's that bringing up? Nothing.
Nothing.
Okay, go to Hebrew. Change it to the Hebrew again.
Yeah.
And type in firmament. I don't know where you're going. Yeah.
Just spell firmament for me. Make sure I get it right. FER.
FIR.
Yep.
Yeah. Firmament. Yeah.
Okay.
Here you go. But you forgot to put Hebrew.
Hebrew.
So it's going to bring it up in English. See what that brings up. There you go. Rakia.
Okay. RAQIA. Do you want me to open
Yep.
that?
Yep. I feel that I have to put this in because it's important. I don't know why it's important, but that'll get revealed to us later. So where are we? Leviticus 23, eh?
Yep. Yep.
I know that's from Genesis, right? Genesis what? Because what are we looking at? Genesis 1:14. Okay. So keywords. I'm just changing the study content. Rakia, which is R-A-R. So Hebrew to English. Kio is R-A-C-I-O. Hebrew to English. It's really important stuff. It's good to show people how we actually conduct our studies too.
Yeah, no, that's good.
So that's Genesis 1:14. Hurry up. Because if you're not reading the Hebrew, then you really don't know what you're doing. Because the Hebrew words are what color the rest of the Bible and the rest of Holy Scripture, as you well know now, as opposed to when I first started talking to you. And then Rakia. Rakia is spelled R-A-Q-I-A. Yes? Dawn, I'm asking you a question.
R-A-Q-I-A.
Yep. Yeah, R-A-Q-I-A, Strong's Concordance. So can you take that link, please, and put that into the study? I don't know why the Ruach is impressing that on me right now, but there'll be a reason. Something will become apparent during this study. Okay, cool. Okay, so that's Genesis 1:14. So let's go back So Genesis 1:14, when you study, so if we go back to the tab, and you will see there that it says muadim for appointments. So there's something about these muadim. So it says, if you read the English, and God said, let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years. So this will begin to become apparent to us as we carry on through the study. But the word muadim, if you can just show us there with your cursor, please.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the word muadim is talking about the appointed times as stipulated in Leviticus, the English Leviticus 23, the English translation. So now let's carry on, and so we know this. So muadim, or moedim. So these are all words that direct us to the appointed times. Now, if we go to the first tab from the study, please, and look at Leviticus 23. So let's go here, because it's talking about signs, appointed times, days, and years. So let's read further. These are the Lord. So we're looking at Passover, aka Easter, and what's actually happening here. So these are the Lord's appointed festivals, the sacred assemblies you are to proclaim at their appointed times. The Lord's Passover begins at twilight on the 14th day of the first month. Pull up your calendar, please. Yep. So the 14th day, so the first month of the Hebrew calendar is Nisan. And the 14th day of Nisan is when Passover, Pesach, begins. And what day did that happen this year in 2019? Happened on the 19th of April. Scroll up to show them what month that is. Yeah, April 2019. Come back down. Okay, so the 19th of April is Nisan 14. Let's go back to Leviticus, please. Okay, so it says there from verse 5, the Lord's Passover begins at twilight on the 14th day of the first month. So as we've just seen, if you bounce back to that, please. Oh, he's jumping. Okay, so there it goes. The 14th of Nisan, aka the 19th of April, marks the first day of Pesach, which starts at twilight on the 14th day of the first month. Now go back to that scripture, please. Let's see what other clues we can see.
Which scripture do you want me to go to? The Leviticus?
Well, yeah, because that's the one that's given us the information.
Yeah, just checking.
Okay, now here are some more critical clues. On the 15th day, which is the next day, and that begins at twilight also. How do we know? Because the precedent has already been said in verse 5. The Lord's Passover begins at twilight. So all of Yahuwah's days, they all begin at twilight. On the 15th day of that month, which is the next day at twilight, the Lord's festival of unleavened bread begins. So these are your three clues. The month, the day, just as Genesis tells us, Genesis 1:14, they mark days and years and months and signs and appointed times. Yep. So we're looking here at, on the 15th day, of that month, the Lord's festival of unleavened bread begins. So therefore, the clues from Leviticus 23 are for Pesach or Passover. So I'm going to add that into the study too. Passover. What marks Passover? And then I'm going to put a hyphen, and then I'm going to go. So, Nisan 14, twilight. It's really important that people get this stuff, man. And this is why Yeshua said, I did not come to abolish the law, but to fulfill it. So Nisan 14, twilight, unleavened bread. Let's see what else we can glean from it. Unleavened bread. Okay, so those are clues. Those are clues. So I'm going to put all the clues in red, and purple. Oh, even better, in blue. I'm going to put all the clues in blue so you know what the clues are. Okay, cool. So now, let us go to the moon. Because this is going to blow everyone away.
What month do you want?
What do you mean, what month do I want?
Well, with the moons. April?
Well, what are we studying?
That's correct. I just confirming. I never know. I can't presume or assume.
Just go to the information and that's what it'll tell you. So as you can see here on the 19th of April, and if you flick back to your, so if you put that tab next to your moon one, then you can just flick back between both of them. Cool. So the 19th is the 14th of Nisan, and that's marked by a what? Go back to your other tab. A full moon. So therefore, you know that when they were pulled out of Egypt, this is what was going on. Pesach, the Passover, when the angel of death went in and passed over the blood of the lamb. It was a full moon. You can guarantee that it was a full moon. And then people might say, but hold on. This was given to Moses after Egypt. Yep. But that doesn't mean that Yahuwah's Moedim weren't already in place. Because obviously they were. And that's why it's important to know the clues. So the next clue, so that's the next clue. Full moon. That's for Pesach only. Or so far. So full moon. So Pesach is marked by the 14th day of the calendar month on the Hebrew calendar called Nisan. And it begins at twilight. And it's marked by a full moon. Now, there's a whole lot more to this, but we're just going to put that. So these are clues. And why are we looking at these clues? Because as we go through all the rest of the scriptures, these are the clues that we're going to be looking for.
Yeah.
What happens on these days? And what are they marked by? They're marked by the moon, obviously.
Yeah.
So if we carry on down to Rosh Hashanah, So if we go to Leviticus 23. Okay, so let's go down to the Feast of Trumpets. And the reason why I'm just going to 3 feasts is because this is when most of the pedophilia and child sacrifice happens. And the big outlier in this whole study, which is not going to come in this particular episode, is 9/11. So the Festival of Trumpets, aka Rosh Hashanah. The Lord said to Moses, say to the Israelites, on the first day of the 7th month, you are to have a day of Sabbath rest. On what day? On the first day of the 7th month. A sacred assembly commemorated with trumpet blasts, which is why it's called Rosh Hashanah, because it's the Feast of Trumpets. And so let's show people what's actually happening. So let's go to the first day. Yeah, so let's go to September.
Yep.
Okay. So show them what we're looking at, please.
So Rosh Hashanah here.
Yeah. So it's Rosh Hashanah, and then show them.
Do you want the moon?
Yeah. So show them the day, Rosh Hashanah. What day does it happen on?
Well, it starts at twilight on the 29th.
Yeah. So it's the first of the month, but it begins on the twilight of the night before. Yeah. So what's happening then? What happens on that day? So go back to your other calendar. Okay, to the 30th. So it happens on the 30th September, which is the first day, of Tishrei. Go back to Leviticus, please. Feast of Trumpets from the colon on the first day of the 7th month. So let's go back to that calendar, please. So this year, the first day of Tishrei happens in how many days? What's the date today?
It's the 20th.
It's the 20th. So we're coming up to Rosh Hashanah. Yeah. So we're coming up to the first day of Tishrei on the 30th. So Rosh Hashanah begins on the eve of the 29th of September and goes to the eve of the third day of Tishrei. So it's 3 days, and the reason why it used to happen over 3 days is because they didn't know which day it was going to happen on. The reason that they can predict what day is going to happen on now is because they've got computer software programming now that can tell us which day the new moon is going to show itself. So in the law, what happens is that they have a watchtower, and the priests are up in the watchtower, the secondary priests, and one of their jobs is to blow the trumpets at the first sliver of the new moon, and that's why it's called Rosh Hashanah, the Feast of Trumpets. Why is this important? I'll show you at the end of the study. So that'll probably be in about 3 to 4 episodes time. As you can see, we haven't even got halfway through this little segment of information here. How many more minutes have we got, Tom?